with ECUM about I couldn't talk because I was from here. And Latin Americans very often feel that way, which is why I told you at the beginning that I was from Mexico. I mean, I understand not wanting somebody who doesn't understand the situation to come in and tell you, what's happening. But I think that the other danger of us thinking it's not our problem is much greater. So that I was urging, I guess, people to try to talk about these issues across borders.
Só mais uma, tá, gente?
Você citou Griselda Gambarro. Tem uma peça dela chamada Antígona Furiosa, onde o papel feminino é muito bem delimitado em relação ao poder masculino. Como você analisa o papel da mulher dentro desse contexto de atrocidade e como isto é visto no conjunto da obra dessa autora?
Repete de novo, por favor. Mais devagar.
Eu vou...
Mas não quero, perfeito. Obrigado.
Antígona. Delineated. Okay. The question, I guess you all understood the Portuguese. I was the only one who didn't understand the question. It's about Griselda Gambardo, who I had spoken about, who has written many, many plays about violence in Argentina. The play that he refers to, Antígona Furiosa, is a rewriting of Sophocles' Antigone. And in this production, there are three characters. Antígona, who does many of the different roles throughout the play, and then the other two who are porteños by moments. One puts on the shell of Creon, which is a shell of power, and so all these three characters do all the roles. She's an extraordinarily powerful figure, and she reacts to many of the lines verbatim from Sophocles in Griselda Gambardo's version. But what's different about it is that I think Griselda Gambardo understands that we have inherited not only these repertoires, these stories, but we've also inherited certain limits, so that Antígona always has to die. You can't have Antígona Furiosa or Antígona if she doesn't die, right? That tragedy centers on her death, on her choice to resist rather than submit and to die for it. So I think at the end, when she's Furiosa, the Furiosa is about, we need better scripts. We don't have to, why do we always have to die at the end? Why is death always going to get us? One of the last lines in that play is, but the speech is hate. Right? So the language is hate. So if we're speaking in the language of hate, there is no other ending. The ending is prescripted. We are destined to go back and repeat it again and again and again. So we have to get out of some of these cultural scripts. I think that's the point of that play. With the other plays, for example, one of her most important plays is Information for Foreigners. Información para extranjeros. And it's loosely based on Brecht's play Fear and Misery in the Third Reich. It's episodic, it's got 21 little scenes. And it's about what happens when we watch violence. And the thing that's absolutely extraordinary, I think it's one of the greatest plays of the late 20th century. What's absolutely extraordinary about that play is that the audience has to follow. It's divided up into groups. And the audience has to follow a guide who tells you what you can see and what you can't see. So the guide opens the door and says, oh, no, sorry, can't look there, it's not ready. And so you have to decide whether you're going to follow along or whether you're going to do something about it. And I think what she was pointing at, this play was written in 1972, which was before the official beginning of the Dirty War in 1976, but already with this incredible escalation of political violence. And what she was saying is that we as a population are being trained not to see. We're being trained not to look. They're telling us, exactly like my image that I started with at the beginning of my talk about theater. Theater trains us how to be an audience. There's that famous 19th century thing about how we have to, in order to enjoy ourselves, we have to disbelieve, right? We have to suspend disbelief. And there's also the opposite, Augusto Boal's spectator, that I say that you have to get that line, you have to diminish that line between the participant and the spectator. Spectators have to take action. So it's about that. It's about what do we do when we're faced with these scenarios of atrocity.
Senhores, vocês acham que aguentam seguir sem intervalo? Não? Então vamos fazer dessa vez 5 minutinhos só o tempo de ir na casinha e fumar um cigarro, tá?